professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Tony Kirkman, Executive Director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Seth.
I know the Bears, their record stinks, but you got to be pretty excited about what this team has done the last few weeks. How do you feel about the Bears this morning?
You know, I think I feel like since I'm a Bears and a Cubs fan, I have the same line. It's just wait until next year. So I think we're going to look good next year. We're just going to have to get through the end of this one.
And then, we had Illinois teasing us there on the football field for a little while that they looked like they were legit. And then the last 2 weeks happened. So, as Illinois sports fans, not just like Illinois, but Cubs, Bears, all the teams, we just can't have nice things all at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, but that's why when we win, we relish it so much more. See,
we appreciate it just more.
They're spoiled.
We appreciate it just that much more, right? Yeah,
that's right.
I hear you. Well, Tony, joking aside, we're coming up on a time of year that is for a lot of people very challenging. We talk about the holidays, and for a lot of folks, sometimes the holidays aren't merry and bright. Sometimes there are things in life that bring us down during the holidays. Perhaps we've lost a loved one at some point in the last year. And so, the holiday season may look different this particular holiday season, or just in general, the holidays look different and feel different without that particular loved one we had around for so long. For others, the shortened days and, the short days and the, less sunlight and those sorts of things really kind of take a toll on our mental and emotional wellness. So let's dive into some of these things here, Tony, and how we can manage them this time of the year. And since the holidays are kind of first and foremost on our minds, with Thanksgiving next week and Christmas season after that, let's dive into that to get us started here today.
Sounds great.
Well, what do you have for us, Tony? As we just again go through the holiday season, whether it's stress of dealing with family, whether it's the mourning a loss, those types of things. What should we be keeping in mind? How should we handle these things?
Well, I will tell you, as a mental health professional, it's very interesting how the holidays affect individuals differently. When I used to run private practice, I actually saw a discontinuation of a lot of clients during the holiday season because for whatever reason they chose that they didn't want to address their situational or emotional distress because they had the holidays to look forward to. This is a time of great rejoicing, a time of being around your support networks, a time of celebration, lots of winter activities. And so you had a portion or a set population of people that said, yeah, I'll address all those issues come January. But in the same part, we had a lot of individuals where the holidays were quite difficult. A reminder of, as you said, a possible loss in the family. This might be the first time a loved one is not at the Thanksgiving table, or this is a really hard time for those that experience grief. Personally, I lost my father on Christmas Day. And so while I have a young family and, I try to put on the best face for my kids and my family to have a celebration, the holiday does serve as a reminder of that loss too. So with cognitive restructuring, what we're trying to do work with individuals is I believe your emotions and your body will follow wherever your mind is leading. So if we continue to look pessimistically, negatively, there's an old adage that says people will find what they're looking for. So if that's what we're looking for, that's going to be a difficult run. But if we can be reflective and appreciative of, while we might have lost a loved one, we did have a lot of great memories. We did have a lot to be currently thankful for. Gratitude will greatly impact your mental health.
No question. And Tony, I'm kind of curious from your perspective, how over time have you handled, balancing the young family you have, the excitement they have for Christmas, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, knowing that Christmas is a significant day for you. Do you mind if I ask how you have handled that situation over the years?
Yeah, no, not at all. And I wish that I could be like every public speaker and say, I've got 10 tips of how you can pull yourself out of it. But I'm a person of transparency, and Seth, for the first 2 to 3 years, I was a hot mess. I was depressed and grieving. And so, what I had learned, now my dad's been gone, this will be his 10th year that he's not here. What I have learned is that grief is not a linear process. It comes in waves, and I need to allow that to happen. So I try to be reflective and remorseful the week before Christmas. That's my plan. I don't know if it works for everybody, but I go out to his grave. I have my time of grieving, time of acknowledgement, time of thankfulness for memories of the past, and then I'm able to come back and not totally ignore that, but have known that I've given myself to that process in a healthy way. I think that's one of the more difficult things, or even one of the more dangerous things for individuals, is to try to cognitively ignore what emotionally is happening, because sooner or later you're going to have a break. One of the best things that you can do with stress, depression, anxiety is not necessarily lose all inhibitions to it, but acknowledge it and sit in it, and process that, because if not, it'll seep out in other unhealthy ways.
Very good. Well, and Tony, when it comes to, that support system that you talk about, if folks out there don't have that support system, whether it's a wife, kids, brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever the case may be, where do they turn? How do they, who can they turn to in those times?
Well, I think a couple of great things. One is find yourself around a community of support, whether that's a social group, athletic club, if it's a faith-based group, to find community. Family doesn't necessarily just have to be flesh and blood. Family is just who you do life with. So I would say find some of those groups where you can belong, instead of there's a great book by Brene Brown that talks about the difference between fitting in and belonging. And fitting in is you adjust to the group, but belonging is the group accepts you for your true, authentic self. So find those places where you belong. Another great thing to combat the wintertime blues or feelings of loss or loneliness is get involved in somewhere where you can serve. Nothing helps our emotional health more than when we give back and we see that we actually have value in other people's lives.
Mm-hmm. No question. Tony Kirkman, Executive Director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center, on the phone with us here for this morning. Tony, any other tips in terms of, or anything else that comes to mind for you when you talk about holidays, dealing with loss, maybe how the holidays just aren't the same because of life circumstance, maybe divorce or something else where, now a family is perhaps divided and it's not a cohesive unit like it once was. Anything else come to mind for you as we talk about those things?
I think what comes to my mind too is this is also a very dangerous time for individuals that are in the walk of recovery. Is that we run the danger of overindulgence in mind inhabiting substances like alcohol. We see, there's a great time for celebration. Yes, have a good time, socialize, whatnot, but do it in a controlled, safe manner. I'm always amazed at people that are going through difficult things, that are depressed, thinking that putting a depressant in their body is going to make it better. It's putting gasoline on the fire. So just be careful.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, Tony, let's turn our attention to, as we go through the holidays, of course, we're going to notice that days are shorter. It's I noticed last night it was like almost 4:45 and, it was almost dark outside. And so, when it comes to just those shorter days, that sunlight really has that lack of sunlight throughout the course of the day definitely has an impact on our psyche and our brains and our mental fortitude, I guess. And when you talk about also the wintertime, it's, cloudier, tends to be cloudy outside as well. So again, less sunlight exposure and those sorts of things. How about just winter doldrums, the grind of the winter? What kind of tips do you have for us there, Tony?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. While it's not recognized in the DSM-5, we are aware of the attributes of what's commonly known as seasonal affective disorder. The lack of sunlight, that lack of vitamin D that our bodies get, that melatonin that the body creates, the reduction in recreational outside activities, social events, and then once we get through the holidays, then we have to face the reality of all those credit card purchases that we made to get through Christmas. Yeah, it couldn't be quite a sad or depressing time. So I think one of the best things that you can do is try to continue, if you're able, at a healthy way, is to get outside, get some fresh air. I know many, many people that have a sun lamp, where essentially they just have a lamp that helps with that vitamin D production and just leans over on a chair, and they just get under that to get some help, some relief as they get through the holidays. I tell people that are okay with it is, go tan, get some of that vitamin D going in your body. Again, I think there are a lot of opportunities to give back in your community. Typically what you're going to see in November and December is people's minds getting to being more charitable. So they will help out at a soup kitchen or a food pantry during those 2 months. But the reality is your nonprofits need help 12 months out of the year, not 10. So looking for those opportunities to give back there in Clinton. Michelle doing amazing things at the Vault. I'm sure that she could use some help, some helping hands, or some advocates. I know that CASA is in DeWitt County. So just find those events that you can plug into where you can give back, because the world needs your talent.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great piece of advice. Is you may not feel like it, and you may not feel charitable, but find something, even if it's as simple as just like you said, just finding 10 minutes, 15 minutes to do something for the vaults. That'll help and go a long way, I'm sure. And probably, you do it once, and you like it, you're going to want to do it again. Or if you don't like it, find something else. That's great advice, Tony.
Yeah, I had an individual, and this was 12 years ago. I was doing a walkthrough of a nonprofit over in Champaign. And as we were walking through the facility, I saw an individual who had a physical disability, and they were in the corner of the office just doing a puzzle. And my ignorance and lack of humility, I thought, wow, that's really nice. They're creating a spot for this person just to be entertained. And I made the comment, hey, that's great that you're allowing them, a place in the room. And they looked at me very strangely and said, that individual is working. They're actually putting together that puzzle so that we ensure that it has every piece in it before we put it on the resale market. And then the worker turned to me and said, everybody can contribute something. And that 12 years ago has always stuck with me. And I would just tell your listeners, everybody can contribute something.
Sure. It's not easy, especially if it's not an affordable thing for families, but finding somewhere, a community, whatever it is, to exercise, Tony. I know that's a great, for lack of a better term, exercise for your mental health. How about that?
Yeah. Obviously getting those endorphins going. I think it's funny is I wrote an article once that did you know that January 16th is typically on average the day where people give up their New Year's resolution. I just thought that was interesting. So, January 2nd, we're all in the gym, and I guess January 17th, we're all sitting home watching Netflix. But yeah, do this for health. You don't have to get out there and get, swole and get all bulky. Appropriate aerobic and anaerobic exercise is extremely good for your mind cognitively. It helps clear out some of that toxic stress. But yeah, getting those endorphins going, getting some of that cortisol flowing, that's that natural pain reliever. All of those things are healthy contributions to someone's overall wellness.
Yeah, not to make this conversation awkward, but there's been some, funny, if you will, kind of TikTok, Instagram type of trends around this, but naked running. And it's basically where you leave your phone at home. You leave everything at home and you just go out for a walk or a run. And, to be honest, like that, I feel like if you can disconnect yourself from your device for 20, 30 minutes, go on a walk around your neighborhood, go to, I used to go out to Weldon Springs and just walk a trail, walk 2 trails, just leave everything in the car, disconnect for that half hour and just walk. I feel like that would be a great thing to do, even if it's, and I actually enjoyed going out when it was like bitter cold outside. I really enjoyed that, to be honest with you.
No, I think that's a great thing. I'm really glad that you clarified because I hadn't heard naked running. Like, I was going to let you do the full endorsement of that one.
Yeah, yes, that's why I said I didn't want to make it awkward, but that's what they're calling it. So, who am I to judge these social media trends, Tony?
That's right. Just you do you. Yeah, I think that we are a plugged-in generation, and we do not allow our minds to rest. And I agree with you, Seth. I think getting out in nature and just allowing your brain to defrag instead of somebody telling you what should be going into your mind, maybe you should just open your mind to new experiences. So I have heard some healthy practices. They call it a 1-1-1 plan, where it is 1 hour of one day. We are choosing to give up our phone 1 day out of 1 week. And 1 week out of 1 year, and just trying to find out, like, during the stake of a year, can you give up a little bit of your access because it's healthy for you. We're not supposed to have our faces in screens all the time.
Tony, let's take a time out here, my friend. Come back, talk some more. Tony Kirkman, Executive Director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center, my guest on the phone. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Hello, Panther fans. This is the voice of the Eastern Illinois University Panthers, Mike Brad, inviting all of our fans from Peoria and Bloomington Normal to the Indiana state line to listen for Panther football again this fall on WHOW's many platforms. EIU Panther football is part of WHOW's great weekend sports programming schedule, including a Best of Clinton Maroon sports broadcast and CBS Sports Radio. We'll bring you every Panther game this fall on Central Illinois' news, ag, and sports station, WHOW.
Despite supply chain issues, owner Dave Jackson's great team of employees at your Clinton Save-A-Lot are working to keep their shelves stocked to save you up to 40% every day. Find out more by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Peterson Insurance Services in Clinton is a 2014 Pekin Insurance Illinois Agency of the Year. Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance. Find out about Pekin's auto, home, or life insurance by clicking on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
At Golden Harvest, our best skill is knowing how to listen. From our Gold Series soybean and game-changing corn portfolios to our expert insights housed in the Illuminate digital agronomy platform, everything we offer is an answer to what we've heard from you. This is how we listen.
Copyright 2021 Syngenta. The trademarks or service marks used herein are the property of a Syngenta Group company. All other trademarks are the property of their respective owners.
Overlook Farms.
Hello, sir. Do you have a minute to chat about the beef jerky of the month?
A minute? I've got hours.
What?
Because Ingenia herbicide from BASF has the lowest use rate, I covered more soybean acres more efficiently.
If now's not a good time.
Thanks to Ingenia herbicide, I've got plenty of time. What flavors you got?
Oh, we've got barbecue, jalapeno.
Ingenia herbicide is a
cinnamon,
U.S.
lemon,
EPA restricted use pesticide. Every application of Ingenia herbicide requires the use of a pH buffering adjuvant. Additional state restrictions may apply. Always read and follow label directions.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Tony Kirkman, Executive Director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center, my guest. And Tony, quickly, we only have a few minutes here for you to tell us about this, but you're in Clinton or DeWitt and Piatt County schools teaching kids about administering Narcan. What's going on here?
So we are certified as a drug overdose prevention program. And so what that means is the state of Illinois certifies individuals so that they can provide the training and the application of Narcan or naloxone, which is used for individuals that are suffering from an opioid overdose. And so we are working with school administrators to make sure that they have the naloxone on hand in the event that the need arises where they would have to administer it. And so the concept is what we call harm reduction, where it is not that we're inviting people to actively use opioids, but the reality is opioid use and opioid overdose is something that is happening in our communities, and we need to be proactive instead of reactive. So I have been hearing many regional offices of education working with local school districts to make sure that naloxone is available in the schools. Same concept, I would say, as having an AED device is you hope you never have to use it, but if the need arises, you don't want to be searching for something.
Sure.
So just another opportunity to resource, educate, and encourage our local school districts in both Piatt and DeWitt County.
Tony, tell me a little bit about how folks learn more about the Piatt County Mental Health Center.
Give me a call, 217-762-5371, or check us out online, PiattMHC.org.
Tony, always good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for making time for us as always.
Anytime, Seth. Thank you.
Great conversation. Tony Kirkman, Executive Director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center. My guest on the phone. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network News is next.
WHOW.